Alright, so before we get started, I just wanted to say that I've already done my base, my eyebrows, and I've primed my eyelids. My foundation is Kat Von D Tattoo Locket Foundation, and my brows, as always, are Anastasia Dipbrow in Granite. So yeah, let's break into the palette. What I really like about this one is that it's a dark color, because the Modern Renaissance palette is super pigmented and it's pretty powdery too. So those colors get all over the place, and you know, putting it in a makeup drawer that has makeup that just kind of naturally gets more makeup all over it was kind of bad with a light colored palette like this that just kind of like ate the dirt, and it got like super dirty and there was no way to avoid it. But I feel like this one, since it's dark, it's not gonna get as dirty, which I like, so just thought I'd throw that out there. This is what the palette looks like on the inside. I'm sure you've already seen hundreds of videos that show off the palette, so I'm not really going to do any swatches. I have not actually swatched it except for the color Roxy up here and Electric, because I was just too curious, and to me, my palette seems alright. It doesn't seem like it's going to have any problems blending out, but I haven't really done much with it yet, so I don't really have any like opinion on it. I'm just hoping that my palette is super blendable, and that it's not one of those ones that's gonna, you know, give me weird splotchiness or whatever, but we will see. But I obviously love the color range in this one. I am obsessed with how oh, it's upside down. I am obsessed with how there are so many matte shades and 3 shimmers, because I feel like every palette that comes out is like a bunch of shimmers and 2 mattes, no transition shades. But this one's got transition shades for days. My brushes are gonna look super dirty because I did a really warm orange and red look a couple days ago, and all my brushes are white, so you know that white brushes just kind of eat that shit up. But I promise I do wash my brushes every once in a while. Shutting up, it's eyeshadow time. So on this Morphe M441, I'm gonna take the shade Roxy, and I'm gonna blend that. Oh, it's powdery, folks. Oh god. Girl! It got all into Electric. Okay, we're not gonna do it like that anymore. I'm just gonna set the palette down. I mean, I can't act surprised, like I knew it was gonna do that, but I just don't know how long this palette's gonna last me if all the shades are gonna be like that, but it's alright. Let's see how it blends. Alright, so tap off that excess. And this is a Morphe M441. I don't know if I've already said that. Oh my gosh, it's pigmented though. Okay, I actually changed my mind. I don't know really what I was doing. I think that Edge is gonna be a better transition shade because I'm gonna go in with greens and blues, and so that just wouldn't really blend into that peach shade as well. But I mean, girl, I've used that once and there's already like a huge dip in it. So that's really unfortunate, but I'm not surprised. I heard the reviews. All right, so on that same Morphe M441, I'm gonna take the shade Edge and use that as my transition shade. This one's a little bit less powdery. This one reminds me more of the Modern Renaissance palette. Still powdery, but will do. It's so pigmented though that I only need to dip into it once in order to get enough pigmentation to cover my whole eye. So I like that a lot. And then on this Morphe M139, I'm going to take the shade Destiny, which is a nice olivey green, and I'm going to blend that into the crease. But on this one, I'm going to drag it out a little bit further past my inner corner to start to form the cut crease shape. Yeah, so it kind of blends out more or less brown than it does olive green. But we'll add a little bit more to see if we can bring out those olive green shades a little more. It could be my brush not being clean, but even though I messed up there, I'm not really too concerned because I'm going to cut the crease with concealer, so that's all going to be covered. I'm not having the easiest time blending them out, but it's not really too big of a deal. I mean, they're still blending, and they're so pigmented that that's just kind of what happens. Now I'm using the brush that came in the palette. Not bad. And then I'm going to be super careful with this next shade because it's dark and green. So, whew. Definitely branching out of my comfort zone in this one because I typically stick to warm colors, but I've been wanting some more eyeshadow shades in this color because it's so gorgeous. So I really hope this works out and doesn't ruin this. We're going to take the shade Axis on a Morphe M168, and I'm going to blend that into the crease just underneath the olive green. And I'm not gonna blend it out. high at all because I don't want it to look muddy. I'm just gonna make sure it's nice and diffused into the crease. This one seems to be a little bit less powdery than Roxy too, so I feel like that might have just been an issue with Roxy. Tap off that excess.
Oh my god!
Okay, we're gonna use a different brush for that. That's just a little bit too stiff. I need a brush that helps me diffuse it out a little bit. So I'm actually gonna take the brush that came in the palette again, but I'm gonna use the other side. I loved this brush when they gave it in the Modern Renaissance palette, so I'm glad they gave another one. Oh yeah, that actually helped blend it out really well. I'm gonna get a little bit more of that on that Morphe M168 into the crease. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's blended pretty well. It doesn't seem patchy at all to me. I didn't really struggle at all, and it's a pretty dark, you know, deep green shade, so that's pretty impressive to me. I'm not having any problems. I like it a lot so far. I'm gonna cut my crease, and to do this today, I'm gonna use a Morphe M132, which is a very flat, flat top brush, perfect for packing shades onto the lid and for cut creases. It's my go-to cut crease brush. And for concealer, I'm gonna use my Holy Grail concealer, which is Tarte Shape Tape. I don't feel like I could use any other concealer for this since I'm cutting such a dark pigmented color. So I'm very glad that I have my Shape Tape on hand. Alright, so the crease is cut. I was debating using some of this shade in the look, but I think that since Modern Renaissance features so many reds and we've already seen so many great red looks out of ABH in the past year, I might put that on the lower lash line, but I think I'm just gonna actually go back in with Roxy. I'm gonna use a BH Cosmetics number 9 brush from the Rose Quartz set, and I'm going to pack Roxy onto the lid just on the outer corner of it underneath where the cut crease flares out. Sometimes I really just don't know how to describe what I'm doing, and I try to think of words, but honestly, I need to just tell you guys to just watch me because it's just so much easier. I'm obsessed with the pigmentation on this guy. It's a perfect peach shade. I wish that I would have had it in the spring because I was trying to do so many peach shades back then, and I didn't really have a good one. I actually think I am going to take just a small amount of All Star and put that just on the outer portion over here. I'm pretty much just mixing the two colors. I don't want it to be a full dark red, but I want it to still give a really nice ombre effect. This may be the first shade that's a little patchy, but it might be my fault. I'll let y'all know. It's fine. It's fine. It was my fault. And then I'm just gonna go in on the middle of the lid with a little bit of electric. I expected a little bit more pigmentation out of this color just because of how pigmented the other colors were, but I definitely can build it up to the level of metallicness that I want it to be. I just have to pack it on a little bit. I'm actually just gonna take a little bit of that on my finger, honestly. It's almost like I put it on my finger and then it like doesn't come off. Alright, that looks good. It's duochrome, so I like it. Not my favorite shimmer shade I've ever used, but definitely looks good in the look, so I'm not gonna complain. And lastly for the lid, I'm gonna take a little bit of Cube and I'm going to put that in the inner third of my lid and into the inner corner. Alright, and then on a Morphe M160 1/8 inch brush, 1/8 inch brush, which is my go-to eyebrow brush. I'm gonna take a little bit of Axis and I'm just gonna sharpen up that line where it might have gotten a little bit diffused. After that, I'm gonna go back in with a little bit of that Tarte Shape Tape and clean up underneath my eye. And I'm gonna draw a sharp line with the concealer on the outer edge of my eye to clean it up. And then when I get to that outer edge, I'm gonna just sharpen it out. Okay, and then, wow, that shade looks like straight up pink now. And then underneath the lower lash line, I'm gonna dip back into Roxy and use a BH Cosmetics number 6 brush from the Rose Quartz set. And I'm just gonna blend that on my lower lash line. And then I'm gonna take this Morphe M138 and I'm going to go back in with All Star and blend that just underneath the lower lash line. Take a little bit of Cube on a Morphe G15 and I'm gonna apply that just underneath the brow bone. Alright, so I went ahead and did the other eye off camera. Now I'm gonna apply lashes. For lashes today, I'm gonna use my Ardell Mega Volume Lashes in the style 253. I work at Sally Beauty Supply and I see these there all the time. And I have a problem not buying a pair every time I go to work. They're so gorgeous. I've been wearing them almost every time I do a glam look. Now it's time for a little bit of mascara just on the top lashes. I forgot to mention that the mascara I'm using is Milani Lash Trifecta. I love it so much because it does a great job of curling the lashes. And then I'm gonna go ahead and line my waterline using this Urban Decay 24/7 waterline pencil, which is my favorite pencil for lining the waterline because it stays there. I'm also going to go ahead and do a very, very thin line of eyeliner to hide the line where the lashes start. So for that, I'm going to use my Kat Von D. I promise this is Kat Von D. I just somehow managed to rub off the entire label. Alright, so I actually went ahead and finished my face off camera because I've done my contour highlight routine a million times and I know you guys know how to put on lipstick. So I wasn't going to show that when it was just a review on the Subculture palette, but all in all, I have to say that I love this palette. It is on the powdery side and it is pretty unfortunate. It did get pretty dirty, but I've seen the pictures where it's just all over the place and I feel like if you just are careful with it and you know going into it that it's really powdery and super pigmented, I think it'll be fine. The blendability is not my favorite, but it really isn't much harder to blend than Modern Renaissance. Maybe a little bit, but I think just going into it knowing what you're working with will allow you to get really great looks out of this. Beginners probably will have a little bit of trouble though because the colors are a little bit more out there than just your everyday brown look. I do feel like you can get everyday looks with this, but a purple cut crease is an everyday look to me. So that is the one thing I'll say is you do kind of need to know how to work with it, but I'm obsessed with the colors. I didn't even know that this set of colors would look so good together, but I feel like there's just so many looks you can create and you can get such a different variety, so I love it a lot and I think that it's worth the price. I do. That being said, I do think it does really suck that some of the palettes were hard to blend and that they didn't turn out to be as good of quality as my palette. So I really hope that is fixed, but I know that Anastasia Beverly Hills is one of the best brands out there and I know that their customer service is working diligently to get these palettes fixed and replaced. Although I do feel like a brand as big as Anastasia Beverly Hills should get it right the first time. There are thousands and thousands of palettes being pressed and I know that there's always room for mistakes and I'm just glad that they are taking it upon themselves to fix the issue. If you guys are new to my channel, make sure to hit subscribe below this video. I make tutorials all the time. I've been on a roll lately, honestly, if I'm gonna be honest with you. But I would love for you to not miss any of those tutorials and stick along with me on my journey through the makeup world. So make sure that if you haven't hit that button yet to hit it. Hit it! I'm waiting. That was really cringy. Make sure to check out the description bar below because I have a list of all the products I used in the video, including what I did on my face to contour and highlight, since I didn't go through that in this video, and I also have links to all of my social media accounts so that we can follow each other and be friends. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say, so I will see you